Hi, I'm Leela Nehemia, sacred erotic self-love poet. There's a delay, I'm sorry. I'm very excited to have Phlip Wade here. We're going to be discussing a few things. This is the collaboration Ascension and YouTube.
Yeah, so carry on.
So I just want to take a breath. If you want to take a breath with me, I just need a moment. So as I was saying, I just wanted to tell you that I'm very excited to have Phlip Wade with me today, and we're going to be discussing a few things. I'm really excited that he's here. Thank you, Phlip.
Yeah, delighted to be here. It's Gila, isn't it? Yeah, so delighted to be here and share this opportunity with you. It's always good to kind of just have these kind of joint sessions with people to talk about this. I could talk about this all day, so I'll just kind of go with wherever you want to go. And welcome to everybody, wherever you're watching, whether it's morning, afternoon, or evening. So
yeah, definitely. Thank you for sharing that. I wanted to just say a few words about Phlip. I will just say some things about the 14 years that you mentioned, and you had left your previous position. I'm not reading the whole bio, but I wanted to just go through some of that with you, where you came from, and how you got to this place, and a bit more about your work.
Sure.
So first, tell us a little bit about this 14 years that you spent and how you got into that.
Sure. Okay. So I think the key, what we're referring to there was back in the year 2000. I hadn't I'd not meditated, didn't really know what meditation was. And at that time, I was a chartered civil engineer. In a fairly senior position in the business, and I'd gone on a skiing holiday to Whistler, which is on the west coast of Canada. By the way, we're just getting a note here. There's a lot of feedback on your sound.
Yeah, I don't know what's happening. I'm sorry about that.
Okay.
I'll just mute myself while you're not speaking.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so I'd gone on this skiing holiday, and I was a big skier in those days, and it was 2 weeks. We used to ski really hard, and I remember waking up one morning after a hard day skiing, and I'd been dreaming about work. And I remember saying under my breath, this has got to stop, like thousands of miles from home, supposed to be enjoying myself, dreaming about work. And one thing led to another, and I found this little book not long after I got back from holiday. It's called The Little Book of Calm. It was by a guy in Australia. And shortly after that, I saw another book of his, which was called Calm for Life, and I thought, that's what I need. And the book taught me how to meditate, and I absolutely committed to it. And so that from that point forward, I meditated for probably at least half an hour a day. And my working life was really busy in those days, and just went for it. And things started to change very quickly. I noticed, although I was already a calm person on the outside, I noticed inner changes happening. And one thing led to another. I found out about alternative healing. So I was kind of like living two lives for a while, and the meditation continued every day, no matter what. Even when working 60 or 70 hours a week, I always meditated. And I came to the awareness that a calling was emerging inside that wasn't any longer to do with this career as a chartered civil engineer, even though I'd risen right up through the ranks. And came to director level, I realized that I was being called in a new direction through this meditation journey. So by 2009, I walked out of my old life as an operating group director of a very large business, having just turned a a huge business around that, secured the company £250 million worth of income. So it was no small feat. And so the company was happy, the client was happy, staff was happy, and just literally walked out. I felt this inner calling. I wasn't exactly sure what it was. And it was really that, just continuing with that journey, that eventually led to more and more profound spiritual experiences. A major one in 2011, a whole host of others, and then 2014 was the, should we say, the biggie, when what is often referred to as the true self became apparent. And as I say, everything had changed and nothing had changed in that. And I can add more to that if you want to go there.
Yeah, I think there's still an echo. I'm not sure why.
I think that possibly the headphones is maybe slightly better. So, oh, I can't hear you now.
Just trying to figure out how to reduce the echo. I don't know if it's any better now.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Hold on a moment. I'm just going to do something for 1 second. Just bear with me. I'll try this. Yeah, I just wanted to share. I think that calmness came into a little bit of these situations at the moment. So I feel like that calmness, you exude that. So I want to thank you for that. That no matter what happens, there's that sense of calm. And I want to talk also about this infinite silence that you do, which is so important. So if you'd like to share some of that with us, I'd really appreciate that.
Yeah, so the infinite silence, as I kind of got to the end of that explanation there, when I was saying everything had changed and nothing had changed, as that experience was realized, and when I'm using words here, they're not really, you can't really put this into words, but as it unfolded, there's a very, very deep meditative state. And in that, at some point, the complete identity of Phlip fell away, and all there was left was just awareness. There wasn't any recognition of a being called Phlip, even a body. There was no sense of a body. And that, it would be accurate to say, you could say that lasted for eternity, but in human terms, I've no idea. There was just awareness, a sense of eternity. And let's say as that unfolded, at some point, the two words infinite silence were heard. And at that point, in the very, very faintest way, the sense of this body and the vaguest awareness of a Phlip re-emerged. And it was clear that I was that, and everybody else was that, and that I'd never not been that. And that it had chosen these two words for me to express this to the world. And it's just another word for infinite awareness or infinite consciousness, and it's unchanging, unmoving, and untouched and unblemished is the way and sometimes referred to as the unseen seer. So everything had changed in the sense that whom I thought I was, Phlip, wasn't actually really true. This body of Phlip was an expression of that. But actually that which I am, that which we are, was the infinite silence, that infinite consciousness. And it's really that unchanging essence that's the very fabric or essence, the energy of the universe, and everything is expressed from there and returns to that. And it's that, the realization of that and the embodying, this is very important, the embodying of that brings that deep, deep, deep kind of peace that passeth all understanding. And so there's an unequivocal awareness that one is always that. And so no matter what happens, this presence, this awareness, this stillness is always here. And so my kind of like mission, so to speak, and it's been reinforced many times since then with various insights, is to kind of help people see that, realize that for themselves, because it's here for all of us. It's not just the Buddhas or the Oshos or, you know, the first yogi. We can all realize this. We can all realize this. And so that's what I'm about, and that's kind of like when I say infinite silence, what I'm referring to is infinite consciousness or infinite awareness. And one is already that, and it's opening to the possibility that you're that, and trusting in that possibility and letting go of the idea that, you know, you're this body mind of Gila is the kind of gateway to the realization.
I really love that. I know there's still some issue. I don't know what the problem
maybe
is.
you have another device on a phone or something like that.
Yeah, let me see.
Turn that off maybe.
Okay. Let's see, does that sound better?
It does, yeah.
Okay, a little bit. So I just wanted to share one thing. That idea of infinite consciousness. How does someone tap into that?
It's actually very simple, and I mean we could do a little exercise if you want for now with the listeners. It's a good way of recognizing it. I call it the Who Am I exercise, and there's two parts to it, but it's very quick and we can do it live. So let's have a go at that. So all you need to do, and you can do this as well if you want, is just simply close your eyes. And as you close your eyes, just be aware inside the question, who am I? Just let that question be asked. Who am I? And the listeners can do this as well. Who am I? Okay, so you can open your eyes now. Did you get anything there as you did that? Did anybody listening get anything? You don't need to answer that if you don't. If you didn't get anything, that's fine. What I'll say is that when I do that question in a group setting, or even done it online many times, the answers that people typically come up with, if you're very identified with the form, the body, then you might say, I am a woman, and the story of that woman and the identity, or a man or whatever. But sometimes people start to get words like love or whatever, and there's a sort of sense of an opening take place. So to help deepen it further, we can do a deepen the exercise. So if you want to go for this now, it's very simple again. Just close the eyes. And now we're going to ask, who am I without memory? Who am I without memory? And just be with that for a moment. Good. So you can open your eyes now. Now when I do that one with a group or online, people usually start to get a sense of an opening, and they start to deepen into a deeper awareness, a seeing that might use a word like love or source or void or silence. And the reason that happens is we've taken away the opportunity to go to memory in terms of the identification of who you are. And you start to recognize there's a presence, an awareness that is actually seeing the arising of all the phenomena. So that would be thoughts, feelings, emotions, sensations, even the breath. All of those are phenomena and are actually seen. And we know that they're seen because you can witness them and they change over time. But this seeing presence or awareness is actually simply that. It's simply witnessing. And it's that's the key to the realization of the self, because it's eventually seen that that witnessing awareness or presence is actually untouched or unmoved by the phenomena, the appearances, whether that be an emotion, a physical sensation or whatever. That presence, that awareness, just simply is a silent witness to it. And it's the reassociation or the reacquaintance with that that brings the peace, the calm, the stillness. So that simple exercise, although we did it quite quickly there, you can use that daily, several times a day. And the more that you do that, it's a simple and effective way to start to bring yourself, so to speak, back into the heart space of silence and awareness. And it's a very effective and very simple and a very powerful way to start. Whoa, I am not this emotion or this thought or this body. There's something much deeper, much more profound, that's beyond and before all of this and the appearances. So consciousness is like a screen. It's like a green screen. A green screen, as I'm sure everybody knows on the movies, you can project anything you want onto it. But actually, you are that which can see the green screen, see the appearances. So you're both the kind of source of that and the projection. But the one that's unchanging is the source, and it's the reacquaintance or the realization that that's what you are, is what brings this stillness, this peace about. And the miracle of that is that as that starts to get recognized, all of the emotional body and trauma and so forth that pretty much everybody carries around, that starts to effortlessly fall away as this awareness is recognized and realized. You don't need to kind of go hunting for it, so to speak. It will just happen if you trust this awareness. So that's the essence, and that's a very simple and that's a really powerful exercise anybody listening to this can do in 2 parts very quickly, just to bring themselves back. And the more you do that, the more the awareness will open up naturally in you. So I don't know how we're doing on sound, but
I don't know. It's still in and out. I apologize.
There's a suggestion that there might be some other tab you've got.
Yeah. I closed everything.
Oh, okay, right.
I'm playing around with the
Never mind.
audio settings.
Never mind. It's pretty good. It's not too bad at my end.
Yeah, I think it's on my end. Don't know what it is. I apologize for that.
Never mind.
I wanted to ask about setting.
About what, sorry?
Setting. Like, can it be done anywhere?
Oh, anywhere. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, there is this is a really important question, actually. When, I think when you're first new to meditation, it's probably it is a good idea to have a quiet space and actually a regular and the same space that you go to, just to help you help you be still. But actually, it's best not to get hung up on that as an essential requirement for meditation, because really, there's an old advert on television on the UK, probably in the 70s, and they used to say anytime, any place, anywhere. And meditation should be able, eventually can get to that point where, no matter what noise, what's going on in the external world, this unchanging stillness, this unchanging awareness is there. And even if there's a jumbo jet taking off or whatever, it's still there and it's not affected by it. And the thing is about meditation, meditation starts as a practice, you might do it in a particular setting, but it's eventually realized that one is a living meditation. That's what you are.
Right.
So actually you're carrying this meditative essence embodied in the form with you everywhere. So then setting is not important. You are the living meditation. And so this idea that you need to be, let's say, maybe it comes from the East, sat in a cave, sat in the lotus position or whatever, is not actually correct. One is the meditation. It starts as a doing, a practice, and it becomes a realization. And so, yes, at the beginning, it's a good idea to sit in a quiet place. Yeah, actually, it is helpful energetically to sit in something like the lotus position. But actually, in my experience of having shared this for many years now, the infinite silence meditation, which emerged as part of the realization, I can have people sat down, lying down, no matter what, no matter where, and they can still open to this. Such is the power of that awareness. I've just spotted a comment there from Patrick, and I want to respond to it because it's actually quite important, because he's saying, my understanding is that meditation is just being. Almost, Patrick, but not quite. Even before what we call being, and being is the state I am, and that's not personal. This is what's called the infinite I am. Even that can be noticed or recognized or witnessed. I do that with the infinite silence meditation, get people to see that. So the fact that that can be reported or noticed as a phenomenon, being, pure being, the state, the universal state I am, means that there's a witnessing presence that's before even being. And that is the infinite silence or the infinite awareness. So it's actually more accurate to say it's isness. Isness, it just is. It's just awareness. And being, I sometimes like to refer to the universal I am, or I call it spheres of light as well. That's its first expression. That's its first expression. The form, the physical body, is the third part of what's known as the triality of consciousness. So you get a triality, which is all three in one. It's referred to in many spiritual traditions. You get infinite silence, pure being, the state I am, or spheres of light, and form, the three in one. But the infinite silence is the absolute. And beingness, I amness, is the first expression, and then form follows from that. So that's just to pick up on Patrick's comment there, just to kind of deepen that a little bit for people.
Perfect. I wanted to talk a little bit about living in meditation. I've been through various things in my own life. And eating can be a form of meditation. Anything can be a form of meditation, as you mentioned. How do we get into that state from your point of view?
Okay, so one of the first mistakes there is that, and this is ultimately what is realized to be so, is that you're not there already. You see, what's realized is that one is always and has been this infinite silence, or this infinite awareness. The mind, which we identify with all the noise going up on there, thinks, oh, I'm not there now, I'm stressed, I'm anxious, I'm whatever. And so one identifies with that, and there's therefore then a perception that's believed in to be so, that I am this, that I am this noise, this mind. But so what the important thing there then, the fact that this noise is recognized, and when people start to meditate, they start to become aware of just how noisy it is up here in what we call the mind or the head. The trick is to recognize that that is an observation. The mere fact that one can notice there's lots and lots of phenomena going on here, lots of noise, lots of chatter, there's bodily sensations and all the rest to go. The mere fact that that can be observed is an indicator that there's a higher awareness. It's like the who am I exercise in a different form that's observing that and can report that. So the trick with meditation practice is to recognize that first. That, there's noise happening here, and yet I am not the noise, I am the watcher. And then I don't identify with it, I just simply observe it with any and all the phenomena. And as one reacquaints oneself with the observational space, what happens is that all this chatter and noise that's here as a big wave effortlessly starts to quieten down. And so the thing about a spiritual practice like meditation, I like to put it this way to help people understand the point. The purpose of all spiritual practice is so that you don't have to. What I mean by that is that don't have to practice at being who you really are. You are already this awareness or this infinite silence. The practice then, the sitting down, being still, starts as the doing, as I've said earlier, and eventually becomes the realization. And so this is why a practice like meditation, it acts as like a bridge from identification to here to come to the stillness that's the untouched witness to all that phenomena that's appearing. And so, it's always why over the millennia the realized beings, and there have been many, unfortunately these days there are an increasing number, are always going to say meditate, meditate, meditate. And they're also going to invite you to look at that one question I was asking you, who am I? Because it's the combination of the practice, meditation, which becomes a realization, plus the inquiry, spiritual inquiry, who am I really? These come together into the realization. Does that all make sense for everybody?
Well, I think we could go deeper another time. Jolene had a question.
Sorry?
What if it looks like we are here sometime and not other times?
Oh, so like you feel like you're there sometimes and not other times, yeah. So that's really the same thing as what's happening is this idea that you're not there and you're not it already is just an idea that you're believing in. And if you believe in that enough, you'll become that experience. You see, the only and fundamental block to spiritual self-realization is the belief that you are the body-mind, and that's all you are. And that belief is a flawed belief. It's what I call the case of mistaken identity. And it's that single belief that creates the experience of not being this stillness, this awareness. Now, in that noise and in that moment when it feels like one's not there, always, always, always a gap will appear in the stream of consciousness, the stream of thought. And in that moment, you might there'll be a recognition, oh, I was off on one there. What this is now a choice, a moment of choice. Do I go with the noise or with the awareness that spotted the noise? And so if we take the choice of going with awareness, and at first it will feel effortful and you'll have to practice this, the more regularly that you use that practice, then the experience of appearing not to be it will be less and less common, less and less frequent, and there'll be more and more centeredness and stillness as this awareness, as this infinite silence or infinite consciousness. So
Fantastic.
the idea that you're not there is a belief, and actually it's a flawed belief.
What was coming to mind while you were speaking is some people use the term consciousness, or conscious awareness. I saw that to be similar to what you were saying.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, consciousness, it can be used, the term, fairly loosely, but a good way to think about consciousness is energy aware of itself. There's limitations in any metaphor, but it's a self-aware energy. Now, we're so used to, when I use the word self, we need to be a little bit careful, because we're so used to identifying the self as, oh, it's Gila, or this idea of Phlip. But the self that I'm referring to here, and in self-realization, is a non-personal, this untouched awareness that everybody and everything is. So consciousness is awareness. It's aware of itself, as consciousness, as awareness, and just that, nothing else at this stage. And then appearing in that, in the phenomenal field, is being, form, time, space, contrast. Contrast is important for experience. You need contrast. And so what's actually happening, a useful way to think about it, is the universe is expressing and experiencing itself in infinite variety, but it's all still consciousness, this infinite awareness. So consciousness and awareness, in the way I'm speaking of it, are the same.
Fantastic. Did you want to do a deeper meditation?
Yeah, we can do, if you want to give people a little experience of that.
Sure. So why don't we just start that, and then we'll close soon after it.
Yeah, okay, that's fine. So what I'm going to do then, I'll introduce just maybe 5 minutes, something like that. Is that okay? Yeah. I'll do it fairly quickly, I'll take people, give the experience of the infinite silence meditation. I'll guide you, and I'm going to use a couple of terms which may be unfamiliar, so I'll just kind of, for those new to it. First term I'll use that I have said already, but just to clarify, I'm going to ask people at some point to be open to the experience of spheres of light. And that's the pure being I referred to earlier. But I'm going to use it in the way of spheres of light because I've found that's how it came to me. And it's actually a great way to connect. And the other one is infinite silence. And that's the infinite consciousness or the infinite awareness. So with that said, we can close our eyes now. So whether you're sitting down or lying down, and just simply become aware of the phenomena taking place. The breath, any feelings, emotions, physical sensations, and just simply, silently noticing those without any judgment. Just simply accepting what's here now without any judgment. And as you notice these phenomena appearing, just simply be open from your heart to the experience of spheres of light. That's spheres of light. And this energy of spheres of light is the same as the pure universal state. I am the infinite. I am, with nothing after the words. I am. Simply noticing this beingness. That is, I am. And now know that this can only be witnessed or sensed from what I call the silent witness. in infinite silence. All your attention now merging with this silent witness that sees the I am. And this silent witness is a bit like some ice in an ocean of water. And it's melting. Dissolving effortlessly, becoming one with the ocean. And the ocean is actually an ocean of infinite silence. Infinite awareness. Be still and know. In silence, you will realize your truth. In truth, you will realize you are silence. Infinite silence. Be still and know this unseen seer, ever present awareness. And in a moment now, I will ring the Tingsha bells 3 times, and just keep your eyes closed for a moment. And as the sound of the Tingsha bells gently fades to silence, aware of the chair you're sat in, or whatever you may be lay on, aware of the space, and simply knowing this untouched awareness always remains. And whenever the moment is right for you, simply, silently, effortlessly opening your eyes. Namaste. So that was a brief run of the infinite silence meditation. I think it was about 6 or 7 minutes, something like that, so a little bit longer.
Beautiful. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
And whilst I just remember, I think Jolene's probably popped it in the comments, but there's a 7-day playlist of that where I did that live for 7 days, and that's the one. So that's on my YouTube channel, and it starts off with quite a lot of guidance to reduce guidance as you get more used to the meditation. So for those watching, do give that a try. It will take you to a new place. This meditation didn't come from here, it came from the realization.
Thank you so much, Philip. I apologize. Don't know what happened there. But I really appreciated all the what you gave us in this short time.
No problem. If people want to know more and they're interested, there's a retreat at the end of the month, online retreat, which I think is also in the comments somewhere.
Yeah, I'm trying to find it. Hold on a second.
Online retreat, I can see it there actually. It's about
it's there. Okay.
It's a free or voluntary donation online retreat for 1 day. So if anybody feels called to that link there will explain what it's all about, and it'll be 2 1.5 hour sessions online via Zoom. So check that out if that calls you. But yeah, thank you, Gila, for the opportunity to share with you and share with your audience. It's always nice to reach some new people.
Thank you so much.
What you're doing, because I know you're interviewing lots of different people around the world. So
yeah, I'll just say a few words about that. People can access it via my website, gilanahemi.com. Because of the echo, I'm not going to talk too much. But more information about me on my website. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Thanks for joining. Lovely to see you.
Namaste.